Caitlin Clark has officially arrived on Hollywood Boulevard with a huge Nike billboard, and the timing could not be better. While some players are busy posting thirst traps on Instagram, just to stay visible, Clark is being permanently showcased on one of the most famous streets on the planet. Angel Reese just had to watch her rival's face light up Hollywood. And you know that had to hurt. This moment shifts the entire landscape. Do you think Angel Reese is actually bothered by Caitlin Clark's Hollywood billboard? Or is she beyond caring now? Drop your thoughts below. Caitlin Clark has truly made it to Hollywood. Not in the way most WNBA players imagine, like a quick cameo in a forgettable movie, or popping up on a reality show nobody remembers. Instead, Clark was honored on Hollywood Boulevard with a massive Nike billboard that thousands of people pass by every single day. This is not some random sign sitting along a quiet highway in Nebraska. This is Hollywood Boulevard, home of the Walk of Fame, one of the most legendary streets in America, and possibly the world.
Hey, Caitlin! Can you make it from there?
Hey, Caitlin, how about from here? Come on, guys.
Yeah, she can't make it from there. No chance.
Caitlin, from me, don't let. You got it. I'm not even gonna ask.
Hey, Caitlin, from here might be impressive. Am I right?
Whatever, Che.
From right here.
From there!
From anywhere.
The billboard captures Clark in action alongside the phrase "You can't win, so win." It is part of Nike's Super Bowl ad campaign featuring top-tier athletes like Jordan Chills, Sabrina Ionescu, Sha'Carri Richardson, and A. Wilson. The commercial runs with Led Zeppelin's Whole Lot of Love, while Grammy winner Doki delivers a voiceover about how women athletes are constantly told they cannot do certain things, so they should go do them anyway. It hits hard, and Clark is placed front and center as one of the main faces of the campaign. Now let's be honest about what this really represents. Nike does not hand out Hollywood billboards to just anyone. They do not spend premium advertising money on players who are simply talented, but lack true commercial pull. This space is reserved for the elite athletes who rise beyond their sport and become cultural symbols. Michael Jordan had billboards. LeBron James had billboards. Kobe Bryant had billboards. And now Caitlin Clark has one on Hollywood Boulevard. That is the level she is on. Clark shared the moment on Instagram, posting photos in Nike gear with the caption, "You'll be told you can't do it, so do it anyway." That perfectly fits her image. Confident but not arrogant, inspiring without sounding forced. Over the past few years, she has become extremely media smart, understanding exactly how to shape her voice and brand. Nike clearly believes in that brand enough to make her a centerpiece of their Super Bowl push. This matters far beyond just the cool factor of seeing your face on Hollywood Boulevard. Nike Super Bowl commercials are massive statements. The Super Bowl is the most watched TV event in America every year. Brands spend millions for just half a minute of airtime. Nike going all in on women's sports during the Super Bowl sends a clear message. Women's sports are not a side project or a feel-good cause. They are serious business, profitable, and worth major investment. Nike CMO Nicole Hubbard-Graham told Fast Company that women athletes are breaking records, selling out arenas, driving ticket sales, and securing contracts like never before. She is absolutely right. The 2024 WNBA season delivered the highest viewership in 24 years. Games sold out, merchandise moved fast, and the biggest reason behind that surge was Caitlin Clark. Her rookie season was historic by every standard. She broke multiple WNBA records, earned Rookie of the Year, and brought millions of new fans to women's basketball. People who had never watched a WNBA game before were suddenly buying League Pass just to see her play. Arenas that were once half full were packed whenever the Indiana Fever came to town. That is star power. That is the kind of influence that convinces Nike to place your face on Hollywood Boulevard. Now let's talk about Angel Reese, because there is no doubt she is aware of this billboard. She saw it, and it probably stung at least a little. The rivalry between Reese and Clark started in college, and followed them into the WNBA. Rhee has consistently framed herself as Clark's equal, or even her superior. She talks about double-doubles, dominating the boards, and being a champion. All of that is true. Reese is a strong player. But being very good and being a cultural force are two completely different things. Reese is a solid basketball player with a respectable social media presence. Clark is a generational talent who has reshaped the visibility and financial reality of women's basketball. Those impacts are not on the same level. Reese has worked hard to build her personal brand. She appears on podcasts, attends fashion events, and stays active on Instagram. She is clearly trying to create something beyond the court. And there is nothing wrong with that. Athletes should maximize their platform while they can. But despite all of that effort, despite the branding and promotion, Reese is not getting Nike billboards on Hollywood Boulevard. That comparison is unavoidable and it is harsh. Clark is honored at NBA games. Clark gets Hollywood billboards. Clark stars in major Super Bowl commercials. Clark is the highest paid female athlete in the world. Reese is recording podcast episodes and posting content online. The difference in cultural relevance and commercial value is massive, and moments like this Nike billboard make that difference impossible to ignore. The message behind the Nike campaign adds another layer. You can't win so win speaks directly to women who have been told they are not good enough, not strong enough, or not capable of competing at the highest level. It is about defying expectations and proving critics wrong. No one represents that better than Caitlin Clark, who has spent her entire career being doubted, and then responding with elite performance. She was told she could not shoot from that far, and became one of the greatest long-range shooters ever. She was told women's basketball could not draw large audiences, and she delivered record ratings. She was told the WNBA could not support superstar salaries, and she became the highest-paid female athlete in the world. At every stage, she proved people wrong. That is why Nike wants her on their billboards. Sabrina Ionescu, who is also part of the Nike campaign, said women's sport is not the future, it is right now. We see it in packed arenas, TV ratings, and how fans are showing up like never before. Commanding attention is not about being the loudest in the room, it is about making sure people notice when you step up. That line perfectly highlights the difference between Clark and Reese. Reese is often the loudest voice, constantly promoting herself and making sure she is seen. Clark simply steps up and lets her performance speak. She does not need to shout about her greatness. Her game does that for her, and Nike clearly believes it belongs on Hollywood Boulevard. The timing of this billboard also matters. As the 2026 WNBA season approaches, expectations for Clark are sky high. She has openly said she wants to reach the top ranking, win more championships, and continue pushing women's basketball forward. This billboard is both a reward for what she has already done and a signal of what is expected next. For Angel Reese, this moment has to be frustrating on multiple levels. There is the obvious comparison, but also the realization that no matter how much effort she puts into branding, podcasts, or fashion appearances, she may never catch Clark in cultural influence and commercial pull. That is simply the reality right now. Reese can collect double-doubles, dominate the boards, earn awards, and make all-star teams, and all of that deserves recognition. But it will not lead to Nike billboards on Hollywood Boulevard unless her overall impact changes dramatically. The gap between her and Clark at this moment is huge. The other athletes in the Nike campaign, A. Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Jordan Chills, and Sha'Carri Richardson, are all leaders at the top of their sports. Wilson may be the best player in the WNBA. Ionescu is a major figure in growing the game. Chills is an Olympic gymnast. Richardson is one of the fastest women alive. These are not just talented athletes, they are culture-shifting figures. That is the group Clark is placed with. Where does Angel Reese fit in that discussion? Right now she does not. Maybe one day she will, but at this point she is not there yet. That is not hate, it is an honest assessment. Reese is a good player building a solid career. Clark is a phenomenon altering the entire direction of women's basketball. Those are very different realities. This Nike billboard is also validation for everything Clark has achieved. When she entered the WNBA, many people doubted her. They questioned her ability to handle physical play. They said her game would not translate to the professional level. They claimed the hype was exaggerated. She proved every one of them wrong. Now she is being celebrated by one of the biggest brands in sports with a billboard on Hollywood Boulevard. For Ree, the takeaway should be obvious. Talking only goes so far. At some point your impact has to be undeniable. Clark has delivered again and again, surpassing expectations. That is why Nike chose her to represent their brand in one of the most visible places in America. The Super Bowl commercial itself is also significant. Nike has not run a women-focused Super Bowl ad since 1998, nearly 3 decades ago. The fact that they are doing it now with Caitlin Clark as a central figure shows how far women's sports have come, and how much Clark has contributed to that growth. She is not just benefiting from the rising popularity of women's sports, she is one of the main reasons that rise is happening. Angel Reese can see all of this unfolding. The billboards, the commercials, the endorsements, the attention. She has to ask herself what it will take to reach that level. The answer is not more Instagram posts or podcast appearances. It is becoming so dominant and so culturally relevant that brands like Nike have no option but to feature you in their biggest campaigns. Clark has done that. Ree has not yet. Maybe Ree will get there someday. Maybe she will have a breakout season that completely changes the narrative. Maybe she will lead a championship run that elevates her status. It is possible. But right now in January 2026, Caitlin Clark has a Nike billboard on Hollywood Boulevard, and Angel Reese does not. That difference says everything about where they stand in the hierarchy of women's basketball. Caitlin Clark locking in that billboard cements her position as a cultural icon beyond the sport itself. Angel Reese can talk about being on Clark's level all she wants, but billboards do not lie. Nike invested their money and prime space in Clark for a reason. If you want more real takes on women's basketball, hit that like button.